Most people know that you can keep your phone charged while on a motorcycle camping trip simply by plugging it into your motorcycle while you're riding. But there are a myriad of other devices out there that people use and need to keep charged, such as action cameras. That's a thing I have to charge a lot. Satellite communicators, lights, fans. Having a great fan in your tent when it's hot out is a freaking lifesaver. Battery-powered insect repellers, radios, power banks, hand warmers, smartwatches, headphones, your cardo, a ton of things. Even my Steam Deck sometimes comes along with me, and all of these things need to stay charged, both on overnight trips close to home and week-long BDR adventures. Here's how I keep my stuff powered up. So first, let's just get the most obvious option out of the way. You plug your cell phone or whatever it is you're trying to charge directly into your bike. Most bikes over a certain price point, most adventure bikes for sure, come with at least one USB charge port or a 12-volt charge port, or both in some cases. Dual sports, not as much. Sometimes you have to add those, but the simplest and easiest way to keep your stuff charged, and probably the most obvious, is just to plug it into your bike while you're riding, because there's a stator in there spinning, generating electricity the whole time the engine is running. But beyond the obvious, how can you keep your things charged? How can you charge them at night? How can you charge them when you're not riding your motorcycle? There are a few options there for battery power. One most people know about is just the little battery packs. You can buy these in the checkout line at Walmart. They have them everywhere. This one has seen some stuff with me. It's been in my bag quite a bit on a lot of trips. And you know, these will buy you 1 or 2 cell phone recharges. They're small, they recharge quickly, they don't take up a lot of space, they don't add a lot of weight, and they're super easy to use. So if you're only running a couple devices, just keeping one of these fully charged with you or charging it in your tank bag during the day and then using it at night is a great option. If, like me, you have multiple devices you have to charge. So when I'm on a trip, it's multiple cameras that have to get recharged. I have to keep my phone charged. I have to keep my cardo charged. If I bring a drone, that's got to be charged. So I need a little bit more power than those offer and more outputs. Right, so I like to carry something like this OmniCharge power bank. This thing is great, fits very perfectly in the bottom of a tank bag for charging all day, and it has a ton of power. This thing will charge a laptop, so plenty of power to charge cell phones and action cameras and stuff. And I'll link everything I have if you want to kind of just see what the examples look like in the description below. But this is an OmniCharge. This thing has served me well. It's been on quite a few trips. It's the perfect size for a motorcycle tank bag, which is what I like about it. But if you need to go a little bigger for some reason, you still want a bigger standalone charging pack, say you have a CPAP or something that you have to run, your luggage starts to get a lot bigger, right? Because if you're bringing the CPAP, you got to bring a big battery to power it, but you can get stuff like, this is a little to-go power. Jackery makes battery packs about this size, and this thing is a 231 watt hour. It's a big, big battery pack. This will fit in a pannier. I've put it in a pannier more than once, and something like this is like unlimited charging. Now, you're no longer running an ultralight setup. You're probably not tackling the toughest terrain, but if you're out riding and camping on the highway or whatever, or you just have something big that has to be powered, they do make these small enough to go in a pannier, and this is an example of one that I've used a few times. But one of the best strategies to employ when packing for motorcycle camping is finding items that have multiple purposes. Finding things that have some other purpose that can also be used to charge your device. And here at Motocamp Nerd, we have a few examples of those, and then I have a few things that I've picked up other places. So let me show you some stuff that can both charge your devices and fulfill some other purpose. First up is the Xped widget pump. So this is for inflating your air mattress. It is a luxury that is totally worth the space in your pack. This one is also a tent light, and it has a 3600 milliwatt hour battery pack, which can charge your phone once or twice. So you can use this to inflate your mattress, then plug your phone into it at night, and then just charge it off of the bike while you're riding the next day. And you always have a battery pack at night, and you don't have to carry anything extra. And you know, worst case, if you run this down, you have to inflate your mattress the old-fashioned way, but that's probably not gonna happen if you just keep charging it every day. So there are a lot of devices like this that offer battery charging as a secondary function. Another example is jump packs, like this MicroStart XP1 that we carry at Motocamp Nerd. This thing is great for a couple of reasons. I like to carry a jump pack because the two most common issues that you encounter out there on motorcycle trips in terms of mechanical stuff is 1, flat tires, and 2, dead batteries, you know. So this is the MicroStart XP1. It is a jump pack for your battery. This will jump start a diesel truck, so it'll definitely work for your XT250 or whatever you're riding. This thing has a very powerful 12,000 milliamp hour battery, which can charge a phone 3 or 4 times, charge a bunch of other stuff. It also has a flashlight, and like I said, it'll jump start your battery. So This is another option where you can use it at night to charge your devices, then plug it in on the bike the next day and charge it up. You don't want to let this run down to nothing because then you can't use it as a jump pack, but you can charge off of this 2 or 3 nights without recharging it and still have enough power to jump start your bike should you need to. But if you're recharging it every day, this makes a great option for charging your stuff at night. I use this one on the Idaho BDR because I was on a bike that wasn't mine and I didn't have as many charging ports as I normally have, so I just was using this and then recharging it. Fit perfectly in my handlebar bag actually, so that worked out really well. There's also the MicroStart XP10 on the website. That one has a 16,000 milliamp hour capacity. It's a little bit more expensive. You can charge your cell phone 4+ times. It also has a flashlight, so multiple options. It's a little bit bigger. It's about this long versus this MicroStart XP1, which fits really well in a motorcycle setup. Other options that aren't necessarily from the Moto Camp Nerd site, but stuff that I've picked up over the years. This is the Light Ranger 800. This is a really cool camp light that comes with a telescoping stand, so it goes about 4.5 feet high. Super bright, and this thing has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, so it will totally work for charging your stuff at night, and then you charge it up on the bike during the day. Another example, this is the battery packs for my Osmo Action 4 and 5, and this thing is a battery charger, but it will also charge your phone off the batteries in here. So another example of something you can just use in your tent at night and then recharge during the day while you're riding the bike. So everything I've mentioned so far can be charged directly off of your motorcycle if you have a USB or a 12 volt. You charge your battery pack during the day, like I said, and then let it charge your gear all night. There's no need for 400 charging plugs coming off of 300 extra plugs you've attached to the bike and all going into your bags, tank bag, backpack, everything else. You just charge the charger and let the charger do the work at night. It's the simplest solution. Other options for charging your devices at camp that don't necessarily require a battery. This is an 80-watt solar panel that's made by Devos, the same company that makes that light I just showed you. Now, it's fairly compact. It unfolds to a much larger size. This thing weighs about a pound. It's $100, and it can charge your phone in 5 or 6 hours, assuming you have good sunlight and all their conditions are ideal. That's only really good for when you're standing still. It doesn't make a lot of sense to use it on the bike because you have a stator that can generate more electricity than that on the bike, but something to consider. There are other solar panel options I've seen on Amazon for like $60. Other more unorthodox ways to generate electricity to charge your devices. BioLite makes a camp stove, so like a little twig stove that you burn stuff in, and that generates electricity. It's enough to top off your phone. I know it doesn't generate a ton of power, but it does generate some. You can't use it during a fire ban. I don't know how practical it is, but it does exist. And there are other things like they make a turbine that you can put in a moving stream. So if you're camped next to water and the water spins the turbine and it will charge your devices or your batteries or whatever. Better than a solar panel because you can use it no matter what the weather is and use it overnight. Sure, but at that point, it's probably easier to just leave your bike running for an hour because again, there's an electric generator inside your motorcycle if you're motorcycle camping. So that's just a lot of ways to charge your devices. And then I just wanted to throw in some general tips, stuff that I think about and use as I'm out camping and trying to charge my stuff. One, just carry more cords than you think you're going to need. Twice as many USB charging cords as you think you're going to need. They break, they go missing. You discover you have more things to charge than you thought you did. Your friend didn't bring their charger. I like to carry extra charging cords. I have 40 of them laying around, so it's really easy to do. Another option is just when you stop at a restaurant or a coffee shop, just plug your stuff in. Like just either there's a plug-in in the booth or just ask. Most places don't care if you're like, hey, can I charge my phone? Or can I charge this battery pack while we're here for 20 minutes to an hour? That's a good way to get stuff topped off. And then campgrounds, often you can find a campground or an RV park with electric hookups. So you can still camp, but there will be a couple 110 volt outlets. It's gonna cost you more, but you can get your stuff charged up and topped off quickly and easily that way, mid-trip or whatever. Say you're charging things mostly, but they're not getting fully charged, and so it's slowly depleting over the course of the trip. Stop at an RV park, charge it up overnight. Same thing with a hotel. You just get a hotel, you can plug everything in. There's like unlimited plugins. Get everything topped off and keep going along your merry way. So at the end of the day, the best power source for charging your devices while motorcycle camping is the one that you're sitting on all day when you're riding. Other options for powering your devices exist, but they're all a heck of a lot more complicated than just plugging into the electric generator that's just buzzing away right next to your ankle. Finding ways to best utilize this power source by charging your devices directly or charging the batteries to use overnight, or both of those things is actually the best strategy, is the easiest and most effective way to power your devices while motorcycle camping. So how do you keep your stuff charged while you're motorcycle camping? What do you bring with you that has to be charged while you're motorcycle camping? Let us know in the comments below what has worked for you and what problems you've encountered so that other people can learn from your experiences. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you're in the market for motorcycle camping gear, please consider popping over to motocampnerd.com, where you'll find the world's best, largest, and most carefully curated selection of motorcycle camping gear. Every single piece is handpicked by our founder, Ben, and tested by people like me to ensure that it's going to meet rigid quality standards and work well for a variety of applications and not fall apart on you after 2 uses. Because our goal at Moto Camp Nerd is to help you pack small so you can camp easy.